This issue really hits home in my district, in part in New Jersey, because we have a new natural gas pipeline that has been proposed to be built, the Penn East pipeline, which is supposed to begin in Pennsylvania, run through a rural part of my congressional district, chiefly through Hunterdon County, New Jersey. It's a pipeline that will run through people's front yards and backyards, through farmland. I have never seen an issue in my short time in politics that is more unifying to members of my community. They're all against it for a whole range of reasons, concerned about impact on the environment, a desire not to give up farmland and property in which they've invested years of their lives. But setting all of those issues aside, there's also the question of safety. I have stood on people's front porches who've shown me pipeline route that will be running within feet of their homes. And given all of the accidents that have happened around the country, they are naturally concerned. I know we've covered some of this, but I just want to ask you, Ms. Homendy, given all of the recommendations that the safety recommendations that have not yet been fully implemented, what would you say if you were standing with me on the front porch of one of my constituents who's facing the potential of a pipeline running through their front yard or backyard? What would you say are the essential steps that would have to be taken by a company building a new pipeline so that you could join me in telling them that, setting aside all those other concerns, at the very least, their families will be safe? What would be your specific checklist?
Well, the checklist would obviously be that they have to comply with the existing standards, but then we have a number of other ones that we've recommended: automatic shutoff valves, proper leak detection, proper inspection, repair of pipelines, and strengthening the integrity management program. We have identified some significant issues with some recent pipeline accidents where pipeline operators' integrity management program is not as sufficient as it should be. And integrity management is really how they conduct inspection, how they determine where their high consequence areas are, how they determine their threats and the risks to the pipeline. If they just look at what's happened over the last couple years and not really much broadly, they may determine that it's a different threat. But I'm going to be honest with you. At the beginning of my testimony, I said pipelines are one of the safest modes of transportation, but you can't guarantee there will never be an accident. And when an accident occurs, it can be tragic. The best we can do is continue to advocate for safer and safer systems. And while the NTSB does not have a role in the planning or the permitting of a new pipeline, we do urge adoption of our existing and future safety recommendations to ensure pipeline safety.
Thank you. And in the case of a new pipeline, and again, I understand that's not formally your role, but would your office be willing to work with ours to look at plans for a new pipeline and advise us as to whether they live up to the highest standards that you're recommending?
We are always willing to work with your office and provide information where we are able. I'm happy to meet with you and meet with your staff as well.
Thank you so much. I yield back.